Chapter 2 The Revenant Tide, Part 1. The sea was black glass under the dawn. A single longboat cut across it, oars creaking, its lone passenger silent as the grave. The wind carried the scent of smoke and rum from the island ahead. Tortuga, the pirate's cradle and coffin both. At the stern sat Captain William Mad-Eyed Williams, once a name that made merchants whisper and naval officers curse. Now, he was a ghost of the man he'd been, his coat torn, his beard unkempt, his right eye marred by a jagged scar that ran down to his cheek. They said the eye had turned a strange shade in the dark of his cell, that the madness in it had kept him alive when the East India Company forgot his name. His hands, scarred, calloused, trembling slightly, rested on his knees. He hadn't set foot on Tortuga in 3 years. Not since the company frigate Resolute cornered his ship off Barbados, burning it to embers and taking everything from him. Everything, including Scarlet. Her name haunted him worse than the sea's whispers. Scarlet, the fire-haired daughter of a Kingston merchant, the only woman who ever saw something human beneath his ruthless grin. She had helped him escape capture once. The company had repaid her kindness with chains. Now she was imprisoned in Port Royal, set to hang with the next tide of condemned. And William had only one way to reach her. He needed a crew, a ship, and enough madness to challenge the empires of men. As the longboat neared the dock, the island's noise swelled. Drunken laughter, clattering tankards, the distant report of a musket. The scent of the tropics was tainted by sweat and smoke. He stepped ashore. The dock creaked beneath his boots, and a wave of memory washed over him. The countless times he'd walked these planks before with his own men at his back, his ship moored proudly behind him. Now there was nothing but wreckage and ghosts. A voice broke his thoughts. "You look half a corpse, friend." William turned. A broad-shouldered sailor, missing several teeth and an eye, leaned against a piling. "Haven't seen a face like yours since the gallows." William's voice was low, gravelly from salt and silence. "That's because I should have been on them." The man barked a laugh. "Ain't we all? Name's Briggs. You looking for drink, work, or trouble?" "All three," said William. Briggs grinned. "Then you'll find him in the same place." He gestured up the muddy street toward the crooked tavern sign, swaying in the morning wind. The Broken Mermaid. William followed the path through the chaos of Tortuga. Street vendors shouted over the din, selling gunpowder, salted pork, and stolen trinkets. A pair of sailors wrestled in the mud, while onlookers bet coins on who'd bite first. Above them, tattered flags fluttered, Spanish, English, French, all stripped of meaning here. The tavern was just as he remembered it, half collapsing, stinking of rum, alive with sin. He stepped inside. The heat hit him first, humid, dense, thick with pipe smoke and the tang of spilled ale. A fiddler played a shanty near the hearth while men shouted dice scores and sailors sang verses no church would ever bless. William made his way to the bar. The barkeep, a heavy-set man with a bald head and sharp eyes, froze mid-polish when he saw him. "By the devil's teeth, it is you." William didn't flinch. "Do I owe you money, Hale?" "Last I checked, no. But I owe you a drink for the tales you left behind." Hale reached for a bottle. "They said you were dead, Mad-Eye. Hanged, or drowned, or worse." "Not yet." William poured the rum down his throat like it might burn the past away. "What's changed in Tortuga?" Hale's grin faded. "You mean since last night?" Storm rolled through, but the sky never clouded. "Sea's been acting queer. A sailor dropped dead right in my tavern. Eyes open, mouth humming like a damned organ." William frowned. "Humming? Some say it's a curse. Others say Captain Vane's behind it, planning a raid on a Spanish treasure ship. Word is the thing he's after ain't just gold." That name, Vane, hung in the air like gun smoke. "I'll need a crew," William said. "Men who can sail, fight, and don't ask questions." Hale nodded toward the back corner. "Then you'll want to speak to her." William turned. At a shadowed table sat a woman with her boots up, a pistol across her lap, and eyes that could cut rope. Islamero, former smuggler turned recruiter for any captain mad enough to pay her price. When William approached, she looked up from her cards. "You've got the look of a man who's lost everything." "Then you know the look well." he said. She smirked. What do you need? A crew and a ship. That's 2 problems, love. Lucky for you, both are for sale. She leaned forward. What's the job? Port Royal. The laughter that erupted from the surrounding tables was instant. One man nearly spilled his drink. Another made the sign of the cross. You plan on sailing into Port Royal? Isla asked, incredulous. You might as well storm hell and demand a seat at the table. William's expression didn't change. A woman's there. Scarlett. She's to hang within the month. That quieted them. Even pirates understood the pull of love and revenge. Isla studied him a moment. You die for her? I already did, William said simply. She smiled faintly. Well, damn. That's almost romantic. She set down her cards. There's a derelict brig down by the southern pier. The locals call her the Revenant Tide. Said she drifted in a harbor 3 nights ago with no crew aboard. Lanterns lit, sails torn, while spinning on its own. William raised an eyebrow. Haunted? Cursed, more like. But she's fast, and no one's claimed her. If you got the guts, she's yours. He finished his rum. Where can I find men desperate enough to sail her? Isla Grinth. You're standing in the middle of them. That night, the tavern turned from laughter to negotiation. William took to a corner booth, a candle burning low beside him, and one by one, the misfits came. A mute navigator who claimed to read the stars better than any man alive. A scarred gunner who'd lost his left hand and replaced it with a pistol grip. A former company sailor who wanted vengeance more than coin. A cook who'd once been a priest, now quoting scripture while sharpening knives. By midnight, William had 10 men and 1 woman ready to sail under his flag. But Tortuga was changing. Outside, the sea murmured with unnatural rhythm. The tide glowed faintly green, lapping higher than it should. A storm brewed without wind. From the cliffs, the old priest, same as the night before, watched the harbor with wild eyes. He raised his crucifix and muttered, "The sea remembers." In his dreams that night, William stood aboard a ship he did not recognize. The deck was slick with blood and moonlight. From below came that same humming Hale had mentioned, a low vibration that trembled through the boards, like a voice calling from beneath the ocean. He moved to the rail and looked down. The sea was alive with light, swirling like emerald fire. A shape stirred beneath, vast, coiled, ancient. Then it spoke, not with words, but with sound, deep, resonant, filling his skull until he thought his head would split. Final was lost, the voice said, or maybe the sea itself said it. He awoke with a gasp, drenched in sweat, the sound still echoing faintly in his skull. The storm had broken. Thunder rolled outside, but again the sky was clear. He rose, pulling on his coat, and stepped out into the night. Down at the docks, the Revenant Tide waited. Her hull was dark oak, waterlogged but unbroken, her sails hanging like the wings of a sleeping beast. Lanterns burned faintly green aboard her deck, though no flame could be seen. As William stepped onto the gangplank, the hum from his dream returned, barely audible, like a whisper beneath his heartbeat. The deck creaked under his boots. The air grew colder. He found the helm and laid a hand upon it. For a moment, he swore he felt it pulse beneath his palm, like the heartbeat of something not quite dead. He exhaled slowly. "You'll do," he murmured. Behind him, Isla's voice cut through the rain. "Captain Williams, or should I say, mad-eyed returned from the deep." He turned, smirking faintly. "Depends if you believe I ever left." She tossed him a small pouch, coins enough for supplies. "We sail at dawn." He caught it. "You sound certain I'll make it that long." She shrugged. "You've got that look about you, Captain. Men who've already died don't fear much." The storm came in sudden, violent bursts. By dawn, the island was drenched. The new crew gathered on deck, a ragged assortment of sinners, killers, and survivors, watching their new captain in silence. William stood at the helm, coat billowing, hair plastered to his forehead by the rain. "You've all heard the stories," he said. "They say the ship's cursed, that no man should take her to sea." He paused, scanning their faces. "Well, the world's cursed, and we're still in it. So I say the sea's the least of our worries." Laughter rippled through the crew. He gripped the wheel, set the sails. The crew moved. Ropes tightened, canvas unfurled, and the revenant tide groaned like a creature waking from sleep. The harbor of Tortuga fell away behind them, the island's fires dimming in the morning fog. As they cleared the reef, the water shifted color, deep green to black, black to something almost luminous. The hum returned, faint beneath the waves. William stared ahead, jaw set. Scarlett's face flashed in his mind. Her smile, the way she'd once called him reckless, mad, and hers. He whispered her name to the wind. From below, something answered. The hum grew louder.